I was convicted of diverse uses of ecstasy, sentenced to 4 months confinement, a reduction to E1, automatic 2/3 forfeitures of all pay for 6 months, and a bad conduct discharge.
Ronald Thompson is a perfect example of what can happen to someone in the Air Force who uses illegal drugs.
Ronald spent his first 72 hours in a cell like this one for a crime he thought he wouldn't get caught for, a crime that would keep him confined for another 4 months.
Ronald doesn't look like a drug user. That's almost always the case. But he is fairly typical of a lot of young people behind bars.
I met a girl. I started hanging out with her, and I met some of her friends through the dorms. They had been using ecstasy already, and I hadn't. And one time they asked me if I wanted to use it, and I said, sure, why not?
The fourth time he used ecstasy, Ronald got sick. It was then he decided he didn't want to continue using the drug. Unfortunately for Ronald Thompson, his story didn't end there. Months after Ronald Thompson quit using ecstasy, his friends were partying in an area much like this one. They used ecstasy, and one of them got so drunk he passed out. From that moment on, Ronald Thompson's life would be changed forever.
They had to take him to the hospital. They pumped his stomach, they found it in him, and a big investigation started, and everyone named names, and I got caught.
Ronald's story is one being told more and more in the Air Force.
I wasn't even thinking about my career at that time. When I used ecstasy, it lost all my worries. It gives you this feeling that you just don't want to, you don't care about nothing else. You feel good, and you're not worried about anything else. It takes all your worries away. I didn't think I was going to get caught.
Ronald has no career in the Air Force. What he does have is a lot of time to think about what he did and what he threw away.
If you could send out a message either to airmen who are doing ecstasy or thinking of experimenting with ecstasy, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to think about what they're doing, or if they're going to do it, think real hard. Think of the consequences. Think of what the harm it could do to your body. If something happened to you, the harm it could do to your family or your friends. It's just not worth it.
Ronald Thompson was a bright young airman with a future, and all that ended with some small pills.
So what happens to Airman Thompson now?
He goes on with the rest of his life. He has to work twice as hard to get where he wants to go. I had a good career going for me, 2 years in the military, and now I have to start all over again.
Senior Airman Marty Rush, Air Force News, Eglin Correctional Confinement Facility, Florida.